Ambassador Lisa Harper stood at the window of her shuttle and watched the massive alien ship grow larger in front of her. The vessel was 10 times bigger than any human ship she had ever seen. Its black metal surface was covered with strange symbols that glowed blue in the darkness of space. 3 years of talks had led to this moment. Humanity was finally going to join the Galactic Confederation. Captain Jake Morrison sat in the pilot seat behind her. He had been chosen to escort the diplomatic team because he was one of the best pilots in the Earth fleet. His ship, the UES Horizon, waited nearby with its weapons powered down to show peaceful intentions. Jake kept checking his instruments even though everything looked normal. Something felt wrong, but he could not explain what it was. Dr. Alex Carter was busy with his tablet, reading everything he could about the 12 alien species in the Confederation. As Earth's top expert on alien biology, he was excited to finally meet them in person. The Vorthak were insect-like creatures with hard shells and multiple arms. The Kethvar looked like living crystals that could change their shape. There were 10 other species, each stranger than the last. Colonel Kate Sullivan checked her sidearm for the 3rd time. She was the only military advisor allowed on the mission, and her job was to protect the ambassador. The aliens had insisted that humans could bring only small weapons and no more than 4 people. Kate did not like these rules, but she had to follow orders. The shuttle docked with the alien ship with a soft thud. Lisa took a deep breath and straightened her formal uniform. This was the most important day in human history. After centuries of being alone in the galaxy, Earth would finally have friends among the stars. The airlock opened with a hiss. The air that came through smelled like flowers mixed with metal. Lisa stepped forward first, followed by her team. The corridor beyond was huge, built for creatures much larger than humans. The walls were covered with the same glowing symbols they had seen on the ship's hull. A group of aliens waited for them in the corridor. Lisa recognized Prime Minister Zell Thera from the video calls they had shared. The Vorthak leader was 8 feet tall with 6 arms and a face that looked like a cross between a beetle and a praying mantis. Her shell was deep purple with silver markings that showed her high rank. "Welcome, humans," Zelthara said through her translator device. Her real voice sounded like clicking and buzzing, but the machine turned it into words they could understand. "We are honored to have you here for this historic moment." Lisa smiled and bowed slightly. "Thank you for this opportunity, Prime Minister. Humanity is ready to take its place among the galactic community." Other aliens joined them as they walked through the ship. There was a Kethvar that looked like a walking diamond, a furry creature with too many eyes, and several others that Alex could barely identify from his studies. They all seemed friendly enough, though it was hard to tell with such different faces. The group entered a massive ceremonial chamber. The room was so big that Lisa could barely see the far wall. Hundreds of aliens filled the space, representing all 12 species of the Confederation. Floating platforms held cameras and recording devices to broadcast this moment across the galaxy. In the center of the room stood a circular platform with a podium made of some kind of white stone. 12 flags hung from the ceiling, each one representing a member species. A 13th flag had been prepared for Earth, showing the blue and green planet that humans called home. "The ceremony will begin shortly," Zelthara explained as she led them toward the platform. "You will speak a few words about humanity's commitment to peace and cooperation. Then you will sign the accords that make Earth a member of our Confederation." Lisa nodded. She had practiced her speech many times. It talked about humanity's desire to learn from other species and to contribute to galactic peace. She hoped her words would mark the beginning of a new age for Earth. The aliens took their places around the platform. Lisa noticed that many of them carried what looked like weapons, but she assumed they were ceremonial guards. Every important event needed security, even among peaceful species. Zelthara stepped up to the podium first. She spoke in her own language, and the translator turned her words into a dozen different alien tongues. Lisa caught some of the translated version through her earpiece. "Today we welcome a new species into our great confederation," Zelthara was saying. "The humans have shown they are ready to join the galactic community. Their planet will become the 13th member of our alliance." The alien crowd made various sounds that Lisa assumed were applause. Some clicked, others hummed, and a few made noises like breaking glass. It was strange but also wonderful to see so many different species gathered together in peace. "Ambassador Harper," Zelthara called out, "please come forward to speak for your species." Lisa walked up the steps to the podium. Jake, Alex, and Kate stood nearby, watching proudly as their ambassador prepared to make history. Lisa looked out at the sea of alien faces and felt a moment of pure joy. Humanity would never be alone again. She began her speech talking about Earth's long journey to reach this moment. She spoke about human dreams of exploring the stars and meeting other intelligent life. She promised that humanity would be a good member of the Confederation and would work hard to maintain peace across the galaxy. The aliens listened quietly. Some of them seemed to be taking notes or recording her words. Lisa finished her speech and stepped back, waiting for the signing ceremony to begin. That was when she noticed something wrong. The aliens were moving in a coordinated way, like soldiers getting ready for battle. Their friendly expressions had changed into something harder and more focused. Zelthara's mandibles were clicking in a rapid pattern that the translator was not converting into words. "Wait," Alex whispered urgently. "That clicking pattern, I've seen it in my research. It's a Vorthak battle signal." Before anyone could react, Zelthara raised one of her arms. Bright blue energy beams suddenly filled the air. Lisa felt terrible pain in her chest and looked down to see smoking holes in her uniform. She fell to her knees, then onto her side as more energy beams hit her body. The massacre lasted less than 30 seconds. Jake tried to reach for his weapon, but alien claws tore through his throat. Kate managed to draw her sidearm and fire 3 shots before a crystal creature shattered her skull with one blow. Alex dove behind an overturned table and frantically pressed the emergency beacon on his wrist before alien talons found him too. As Alex's life faded away, he heard Zelthara speaking to the other aliens in their own languages. The translator was still working and her words chilled him to his core. "The plague species has been eliminated. Begin the cleansing protocol. Target their homeworld." The emergency beacon transmitted its final message into space, carrying the terrible truth toward Earth. Humanity's first diplomatic mission had become a trap, and now the real war was about to begin. Admiral Ben Rodriguez was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm started screaming through Deep Space Command. The sound meant only one thing: emergency transmission from deep space. Ben dropped his cup and ran to the communications center where dozens of officers were already working at their stations. "What do we have?" Ben asked as he reached the main console. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Walsh looked up from her screen with a pale face. "Emergency beacon from the diplomatic mission, sir. The signal is weak, but we're getting something." Ben felt his stomach drop. The diplomatic mission to join the Galactic Confederation was supposed to be humanity's greatest achievement. Ambassador Harper and her team should have been signing peace treaties, not sending distress calls. "Put it on the main screen," Ben ordered. The recording was broken and filled with static, but Alex Carter's voice came through clearly enough. The young scientist was whispering urgently into his emergency beacon while hiding behind something. His words made Ben's blood run cold. "This is Dr. Carter from the diplomatic mission. The aliens have killed Ambassador Harper and the entire team. It was a trap. They called us a plague species and mentioned something called the cleansing protocol. They're going to attack Earth. This is not a diplomatic mission, this is genocide. The beacon coordinates will show you where we are, but don't come here. It's too dangerous. Warn Earth. Tell them the aliens are coming." The recording ended with the sound of alien voices and then silence. The communications center was completely quiet except for the humming of computers. Every person in the room understood what they had just heard. Humanity was about to face extinction. Ben turned to his intelligence officer. "Commander Lisa Park, I need you to start working on those alien communications we've been intercepting. Find out everything you can about this cleansing protocol." Lisa nodded and started typing rapidly on her keyboard. She was one of the best code breakers in the Earth fleet, and if anyone could crack alien communications, it was her. Ben had a feeling they were going to need every piece of information they could get. "Walsh, get me a direct line to Earth Defense Command." "Priority 1, Ben said. While Sarah worked on establishing the connection, Ben thought about what this meant. 3 years of careful negotiations had been a lie. The aliens had never intended to welcome humanity into their confederation. They had lured Earth's best diplomat and her team into a trap so they could murder them. But why? What had humanity done to deserve this? "Admiral, I've got General Paul Johnson on the line," Sarah reported. The main screen switched to show the scarred face of Earth's top military commander. General Johnson had fought in the Colony Wars and the Mars Rebellion. He was not a man who scared easily, but Ben could see worry in his eyes. Ben, what's this about an emergency from the diplomatic mission? Johnson asked. Ben played the recording for the general. He watched Johnson's expression change from confusion to anger to grim determination. When the recording ended, Johnson was quiet for a long moment. How sure are we that this is real? Johnson finally asked. The beacon codes match and voice analysis confirms it's Dr. Carter, Ben replied. Paul, I think we need to assume the worst and start preparing. Agreed. I'm calling an emergency meeting with President Santos. Can you send me everything you have? Already transmitting. Paul, there's something else. My intelligence team is working on alien communications. If this cleansing protocol is what I think it is, we might be looking at an invasion fleet. Johnson's face got even more serious. How long do we have? Unknown. Could be days, could be months. We need to find out. The connection ended and Ben turned back to his team. Commander Park was already pulling up displays full of alien language patterns and communication intercepts. Admiral, I'm finding references to something big, Lisa said. The alien communications mention massive fleet movements and something they call final solution for the human problem. This has been planned for months. Ben felt sick. While Earth's diplomats were working toward peace, the aliens had been planning war. What else can you tell me? The communications are coming from 12 different species, all coordinated. They're calling humanity a threat that must be eliminated before we spread beyond our solar system. They're afraid of us, Admiral. Afraid of us? We've barely left our own star system. Lisa pulled up more data on her screen. That's exactly what scares them. According to these intercepts, human technology has advanced faster than any species they've ever seen. They think we're too aggressive, too adaptable. They want to destroy us before we become a real threat. Ben stared at the alien text scrolling across the screens. He could not read the symbols, but he understood the message clearly enough. The galaxy's established powers had decided that humanity was too dangerous to live. Keep working on those communications. I want to know everything about their plans, Ben said. A new alarm started ringing. This one was different, more urgent. Ben recognized the sound immediately. Incoming fast-moving objects detected by the outer system sensors. Report, Ben called out. Ensign Mark Davis was monitoring the sensor displays. Admiral, we're detecting multiple ships coming out of hyperspace near Pluto. They're not human designs. Ben felt his heart rate increase. How many ships? 3 contacts, sir. Small vessels, probably scouts. They're heading toward the inner system. This was it. The alien attack had begun. Ben activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands, this is Admiral Rodriguez. As of this moment, Earth is under attack by hostile alien forces. This is not a drill. All ships are to prepare for combat operations immediately. He turned to his communications officer. Get me Captain Ryan Blake on the Shadow. I want those scout ships tracked and monitored. The Shadow was Earth's newest stealth ship designed for reconnaissance missions. If anyone could get close to the alien scouts without being detected, it was Captain Blake and his crew. Blake here, came the voice over the radio. Ryan, we've got alien scouts in the outer system. I need you to get close and find out what they're doing. Understood, Admiral. We're already moving to intercept. Ben looked around the command center. His officers were working efficiently despite the shock of the news. Earth's military had trained for alien contact, but they had always assumed it would be peaceful. Now they were facing the possibility of complete extinction. Admiral, Commander Park called out, I'm detecting massive energy signatures beyond Pluto. Something big is coming. Ben walked over to look at her display. The readings showed energy patterns unlike anything Earth had ever encountered. Whatever was generating those signatures was enormous. How big are we talking about? Ben asked. Lisa checked her calculations twice before answering. Based on these readings, sir, I estimate we're looking at several thousand ships. It's not just a scout force, Admiral. It's an invasion fleet. Ben felt the weight of command settle on his shoulders. Humanity had 6 months of preparation at most before the largest alien armada in galactic history arrived at Earth. The odds were impossible, but Ben had not become an admiral by accepting defeat. Send a message to all Earth fleet commanders, he said. Tell them to report to Deep Space Command immediately. We're going to war. Dr. Amanda Foster had not slept in 3 days. The underground weapons laboratory beneath Colorado was buzzing with activity as teams of scientists worked around the clock. Amanda stared at the alien technology spread across her workbench. Pieces of metal and crystal from crashed alien probes, recovered over the past 5 years, had suddenly become humanity's most valuable resources. The problem is their energy shields, Amanda explained to her assistant. Dr. Kevin Ross, our missiles and bullets bounce right off them. We need something that can get through. Kevin pointed to a strange purple crystal they had pulled from an alien scout ship. What about this? The scans show it can phase between different states of matter. Amanda picked up the crystal and held it to the light. The alien technology was beautiful but deadly. If she could figure out how it worked, humanity might have a chance. Start running tests on quantum resonance frequencies. If we can make our warheads phase through their shields, we might actually hurt them. Meanwhile, in the asteroid belt, Captain Derek Stone was turning space rocks into weapons. His engineering teams had been working for weeks to install massive railgun platforms on the largest asteroids. The plan was simple. When the alien fleet arrived, they would face a wall of high-speed metal projectiles fired from hidden positions. Chief Frank Collins floated beside Derek in zero gravity, watching workers attach the final pieces to a railgun barrel that was 300 meters long. This should punch through anything they've got, Frank said. The projectiles will be moving at 30% the speed of light when they hit. Derek nodded, but he knew the railguns were just part of the plan. How many civilian ships have we converted? Frank checked his tablet. 250 mining vessels, 40 cargo haulers, and 15 passenger liners. They're not pretty, but they've all got missile launchers now. Every human ship that could carry a weapon had been pressed into service. Mining ships that normally hauled ore were now loaded with nuclear warheads. Passenger liners that carried families between colonies now bristled with defensive turrets. It was not much against a fleet of 3,000 alien warships, but it was everything humanity had. Captain Stone, came a voice over the radio. This is Commander Susan Wright. We've got incoming contacts near Saturn. Derek switched to the tactical channel. Susan commanded a patrol squadron of 12 ships that were supposed to give early warning of alien attacks. If she was seeing contacts, it meant the enemy scouts had reached the inner system. How many ships, Susan? Derek asked. 5 contacts moving fast toward Earth. They'll reach Mars orbit in 6 hours. Derek felt his pulse quicken. The main alien fleet was still months away, but these scouts could report back on human defenses. All units, this is Stone, intercept those scouts. Don't let any of them escape. Susan's squadron was already moving toward the enemy ships. Her vessels were small and fast, built for patrol work rather than combat. But they were crewed by humans who knew their planet was facing extinction. That made all the difference. The battle near Saturn's rings lasted 30 minutes. Susan's ships attacked the alien scouts with everything they had. Missiles filled the space between the two forces while energy beams lit up the darkness. The human ships took terrible damage, but they kept fighting even when their hulls were breached and their crews were dying. This is Wright, Susan's voice crackled over the damaged radio. We got 4 of the 5 scouts. The last one is trying to escape. I'm gonna ram it. Derek watched on his sensors as Susan's ship, bleeding atmosphere and trailing debris, accelerated toward the fleeing alien vessel. Her ship was too damaged to catch the scout with weapons, but she could still use her ship itself as a weapon. The collision lit up Derek's screens like a small star. Both ships disappeared in the explosion, but the alien scout would never report back to its fleet. Susan and her crew had bought humanity valuable time with their lives. All ships, this is Admiral Rodriguez, came the voice from Deep Space Command. Phase 2 is now active. All fleet units moved to assigned positions. Derek knew what Phase 2 meant. Admiral Rodriguez had decided that if the aliens wanted to fight a war of extinction, humanity would show them what that really meant. The plan was bold and probably suicidal, but it was their only chance. 3 weeks later, Captain Ryan Blake was floating in space near Jupiter's largest moon. His stealth ship, the Shadow, was completely powered down and drifting like a piece of debris. Ryan and his crew had been waiting in silence for days, watching for signs of the alien advance fleet. Captain, whispered his sensor operator, I'm getting readings, big ones. Ryan looked at the passive sensors. Hundreds of alien ships were dropping out of hyperspace near Jupiter. The advance fleet was smaller than the main armada, but still outnumbered human forces 10-1. The aliens were being careful, sending scouts ahead to clear the way for their main attack. All units, this is Blake, Ryan transmitted on a tight beam toward the hidden human fleet. The advance force is here, implementing ambush protocol now. Hidden behind Jupiter's radiation belt, 30 human ships powered up their engines and weapons. The radiation from the giant planet had masked their presence perfectly. The aliens had no idea they were flying into a trap. Commander Nick Hayes led the ambush force out from behind Jupiter's largest moon. His ships emerged from the radiation like ghosts, their weapons already firing. The aliens had expected to find empty space. Instead, they found angry humans with nothing left to lose. The battle raged for hours among Jupiter's moons. Human ships fought with a fury that the aliens had never encountered. When their weapons failed, human captains rammed their ships into alien vessels. When their hulls were breached, human crews kept fighting until the vacuum of space claimed them. The aliens had superior technology and greater numbers, but they were fighting a species that had climbed to the top of Earth's food chain through pure determination. Every human ship that died took at least one alien vessel with it. Some took 2 or 3. When the shooting finally stopped, the alien advance fleet had been reduced to half its original size. The survivors regrouped and continued toward Earth, but their confidence was shaken. These humans did not fight like any species they had encountered before. Back on Earth, President Maria Santos watched the battle reports in the White House Situation Room. The human losses were terrible, but they had proven something important. The aliens could be hurt and they could be killed. "General Johnson," the president said to her military commander, "how long until the main fleet arrives?" Johnson checked his latest intelligence reports. 4 months, maybe 5. "They're moving more slowly now, being more careful." President Santos nodded. The alien advance force had learned to fear humanity, and word of that fear would spread to the main fleet. But 4 months was not enough time to build the defenses Earth needed. "Activate the evacuation protocols," she ordered, "and send a message to all our colony worlds. Tell them to prepare for total war." Prime Minister Zelthara stood on the bridge of her flagship as the massive alien armada dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. 3,000 warships from 12 different species had come to destroy humanity once and for all. The fleet stretched across space like a metallic cloud, bristling with weapons that could crack planets. "Begin scanning for human defenses," Zelthara ordered her bridge crew. "I want to know where their pathetic fleet is hiding." The sensors swept across the solar system looking for signs of human ships. The readings came back showing almost nothing. A few scattered contacts near the outer planets, but no major fleet formations. No defensive lines around Earth. No massive fortifications in space. "This is strange," muttered the Vorthax sensor operator. "Our intelligence said the humans had over 200 warships." "Where are they?" Zelthara clicked her mandibles in satisfaction. "They are probably hiding behind their homeworld like frightened children." The advance fleet reports were exaggerated. These humans fought desperately because they knew they were going to die anyway. The alien fleet began its slow advance toward Earth. The plan was simple: destroy any human ships they encountered, then burn the planet's surface until nothing could survive. The Galactic Confederation had decided that complete extinction was the only way to deal with the human threat. But Admiral Rodriguez had different plans. His fleet was not hiding behind Earth at all. They were scattered throughout the outer solar system, powered down and drifting in the cold darkness like dead hulks. The human ships had been waiting in complete silence for weeks, their crews surviving on emergency power and recycled air. "All ships, this is Rodriguez," came the whispered transmission on a frequency the aliens could not detect. "Target acquisition complete. Begin Phase Alpha." The asteroids around Pluto suddenly came alive with weapons fire. What the aliens had thought were harmless space rocks were actually camouflaged gun platforms. Massive railgun projectiles screamed through space at incredible speeds, striking the rear of the alien formation before they could react. The first salvo destroyed 50 alien ships in seconds. Chunks of metal moving at 30% light speed punched through energy shields like they were made of paper. The aliens scrambled to return fire, but the gun platforms were already shutting down and going dark again. "What was that?" Zelthara demanded as her bridge shook from a near miss. "Kinetic weapons from the asteroid belt," her tactical officer reported. "The humans have turned space rocks into weapons." Before Zelthara could respond, the second wave of attacks began. Captain Troy Parker led his squadron out from behind Pluto's largest moon, striking at the alien fleet's flank. His ships had been hiding in the shadow of the moon for days, waiting for this moment. Troy's 20 ships were heavily outnumbered, but they had the advantage of surprise. Human missiles filled the space between the two forces, while the aliens struggled to bring their superior numbers to bear. The battle was brutal and short. Troy's squadron inflicted heavy damage before withdrawing back into the outer system's maze of moons and asteroids. "Pursue them," Zelthara ordered. "Do not let the humans escape." Part of the alien fleet broke off to chase Troy's ships, but this was exactly what Admiral Rodriguez wanted. The human strategy was simple: break the alien fleet into smaller pieces and destroy them one by one. Every ship that chased human squadrons was a ship that could not protect the main formation. The alien armada continued its advance, but now they were scanning every asteroid and moon for hidden threats. Their progress slowed as they tried to clear each piece of cover before moving forward. This gave the human defenders more time to prepare their next ambush. As the aliens approached Jupiter, Commander Nick Hayes prepared to spring the second major trap. His ships were hidden throughout Jupiter's radiation belt, a place where alien sensors worked poorly. The giant planet's magnetic field played havoc with most detection systems, but humans had learned to use this to their advantage. "Remember, we hit them hard and fast," Nick told his captains over the radio. "Make every shot count because we probably will not get a second chance." The alien fleet reached Jupiter and began moving through the system of moons. They were being more careful now, but they still did not see the human ships waiting in the radiation belt. Nick waited until the aliens were spread out among the moons before giving the attack order. 40 human ships emerged from Jupiter's radiation like avenging angels. Their weapons were already firing as they left their hiding places, catching the aliens completely off guard. Energy beams and missile trails lit up the space around Jupiter's moons as the two fleets collided. The battle for Jupiter's system was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships fought with a desperation that bordered on madness. When their weapons failed, they rammed alien vessels. When their hulls were breached, their crews kept fighting until the cold vacuum killed them. Captain Amy Roberts was commanding a converted mining ship when 3 alien cruisers surrounded her. Her weapons were damaged and her engines were failing, but she was not ready to give up. "All hands prepare for ramming speed," she announced over the ship's communication system. Amy's ship accelerated toward the largest alien cruiser, its hull glowing red from the strain. The alien captain tried to move out of the way, but human ships were faster and more maneuverable than the aliens had expected. The collision tore both ships apart in a ball of fire that lit up Jupiter's largest moon. The battle raged for 6 days among Jupiter's moons. Human losses were terrible, but they inflicted damage that shocked the alien fleet. The humans were outnumbered 10 to 1, but they fought like each ship was worth 100 alien vessels. When the shooting finally stopped, the alien fleet had lost almost a quarter of its ships. The survivors regrouped in empty space, trying to understand what had just happened. These humans did not fight like any civilized species. They turned their own ships into weapons and seemed to prefer death to surrender. "How many ships did we lose?" Zelthara asked her damage control officer. 734 ships destroyed, Prime Minister. Another 200 are too damaged to continue fighting." Zelthara stared at the tactical display in disbelief. The humans had fewer than 200 ships total, yet they had destroyed almost a quarter of the Confederation's armada. How was this possible? "The humans fight without honor," complained the Kethvar admiral. "They use suicide attacks and hide behind radiation fields." "They fight to win," Zelthara replied grimly, "and they are better at it than we expected." The alien fleet continued toward Earth, but their confidence was shattered. They still outnumbered the remaining human forces by more than 2 to 1, but the humans had proven they were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. On Earth, Admiral Rodriguez watched the battle reports with satisfaction. The plan was working perfectly. The aliens were learning to fear humanity, but they did not know the worst was still to come. The battered alien fleet reached Earth's orbit, expecting to find the last desperate defense of humanity. Prime Minister Zelthara looked at the blue and green planet through her ship's main viewer. After months of fighting through the solar system, she was finally ready to finish what the Confederation had started. "Begin planetary scans," Zelthara ordered. "I want to know where their remaining ships are hiding." The sensors swept across Earth's surface and the space around it. The readings showed scattered defensive platforms and some orbital stations, but no major fleet concentrations. Most surprising of all, the planet itself appeared to be almost empty. "Prime Minister," the sensor operator reported, "we are detecting very few life signs on the surface. The major cities appear to be abandoned." Zelthara clicked her mandibles in confusion. "Where did they go?" A planet with 8 billion humans does not just empty itself. Before anyone could answer, every communication channel suddenly activated at once. A single transmission was broadcasting on all frequencies, powerful enough to reach every ship in the alien fleet. The main viewer switched to show a human male in a military uniform sitting in what looked like a ship's bridge. "I am Admiral Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Fleet," the human said calmly. "You came to our solar system to exterminate humanity. You murdered our ambassador and declared war on our entire species. You wanted to eliminate us because you thought we were too dangerous." Zelthara leaned forward in her command chair. The human's words were being translated into every alien language, ensuring that all 12 species could understand what he was saying. "You were right to fear us," Admiral Rodriguez continued, "but you made one critical mistake. You sent your entire military to destroy Earth while leaving your own worlds defenseless. Now you are going to learn what extermination really means." The transmission ended, leaving the alien fleet in confused silence. Before anyone could react, new contacts began appearing on sensors throughout the galaxy. Human ships were dropping out of hyperspace around every alien homeworld simultaneously. Captain Amy Roberts commanded the human fleet attacking the Vorthak homeworld. Her ships had been hiding in deep space for months, waiting for this moment. The Vorthak had sent their entire navy to attack Earth, leaving their planet protected by only a few patrol ships and orbital defenses. "All ships begin the attack," Amy transmitted to her fleet. "Target their orbital shipyards first, then the surface installations." The human ships swept down on the Vorthak homeworld like a plague of metal locusts. Their weapons had been specifically designed to crack planetary shields and burn atmospheres. Within hours, the great Vorthak cities were burning under a rain of human fire. The same scene was playing out across 50 star systems. Commander Steve Murphy led the assault on the crystalline Kethvar Empire, while Captain Derek Stone struck at the gaseous worlds of the Nethkari. Every alien species that had joined the Confederation's extermination fleet was now watching their own homeworlds burn. Back in Earth's orbit, Zelthara was receiving desperate transmissions from across the galaxy. Her own homeworld was under attack, along with every other Confederation planet. The humans had turned the tables completely, using the aliens' own strategy against them. "How is this possible?" the Kethvar admiral demanded over the communication system. "The humans barely had 200 ships. They must have built more," Zelthara replied, but she knew it was not that simple. The humans had been planning this for months, maybe years. While the Confederation thought they were preparing for a simple extermination mission, humanity had been preparing for total war. "All ships, attack the planet immediately," Zelthara ordered. "We must complete our mission before the humans destroy our homeworlds." The alien fleet moved toward Earth's orbital defenses, but the human platforms were ready for them. Weapons that had been hidden behind space stations and asteroids suddenly revealed themselves, filling space with defensive fire. The aliens had expected Earth to be helpless, but the humans had one final surprise waiting. From the far side of Earth's moon, Admiral Rodriguez led the last human fleet into battle. His flagship, the UES Retribution, was humanity's newest and most powerful warship. It had been built in secret while the aliens thought humans were just trying to survive. "All ships, this is Rodriguez," the admiral transmitted as his fleet rounded the moon. "These aliens wanted to exterminate our species. Show them why that was a mistake." The final battle began in Earth's orbit as two desperate fleets collided above humanity's homeworld. The aliens still outnumbered the humans, but they were fighting an enemy that had already destroyed their homes and families. Every alien ship that fell meant another species facing extinction. The human ships fought with a fury that shook the galaxy. They had learned from months of combat that aliens could be killed just like any other enemy. When their weapons failed, they used their ships as battering rams. When their hulls were breached, their crews kept fighting until space claimed them. Captain Troy Parker's ship was surrounded by 3 alien cruisers when his engines failed. His weapons were gone and his hull was cracking, but he was not finished yet. "Emergency power to engines," he ordered his crew. "We are going to take as many of them with us as we can." Troy's ship accelerated into the largest alien vessel, its reactors overloading just as the two ships collided. The explosion was visible from Earth's surface, a brief star that marked another human victory bought with blood and determination. The battle raged for hours above Earth's blue skies. Slowly but steadily, The alien fleet was ground down by human determination and superior tactics. The Confederation had expected to face a desperate last stand, but instead they found themselves fighting an enemy that had already won the war. When the shooting finally stopped, the Galactic Confederation was finished. 12 alien homeworlds burned under human occupation, while their scattered fleets were hunted down across the galaxy. The few surviving alien leaders, including a broken Zelthera, were brought before human tribunals to answer for their crimes. Admiral Rodriguez stood in the former Confederation capital, looking out at the ruins of what had once been the galaxy's greatest alliance. The alien governments had been destroyed, their fleets scattered, their populations under human control. "Send a message to all remaining alien forces," Rodriguez ordered his communications officer. "Tell them that the age of the Galactic Confederation is over. Humanity is in charge now." The message went out across the galaxy, carrying a simple truth that every species would soon understand. The aliens had declared war on humanity for being too dangerous, too aggressive, and too adaptable. They had been completely right to fear the human race, but their fear had come far too late. Ambassador Lisa Harper had been murdered for trying to bring peace to the galaxy. In response, humanity had brought something much more effective: the complete extinction of their enemy's way of life. The galaxy would never forget the price of killing Earth's ambassador, and it would never again underestimate the species from the small blue planet.